The provision of essential items such as medication at hospitals, books at schools, and even furniture for offices are dependent on one critical element: data. Yes, without data, the government is unable to cater to you. You have to be numbered in order to count. For this reason and others, the world today acknowledges the importance of data. On today's show, the foundation of statistics is knowing the rules of computation, such as addition and multiplication. So, we'll be talking math. Then we turn the spotlight on the Civil Aviation Authority, a glimpse of the visit of a very important guest. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. Stay with us as we observe World Statistics Day.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry with your JIS News for Friday, October 20. Minister of National Security Robert Montego has announced the appointment of a new 5-member board for the Firearm Licensing Authority. The new board, which will serve for 3 years, is chaired by National Security Advisor Major General Anthony Anderson. Other members are retired Puny Judge Justice Marva McIntosh, retired Senior Superintendent Albert Edwards, retired Civil Servant Ina Rose, and banker Anicia Nita.
The mandate to the new authority is to go in, is to enhance the systems that are there, is to clean out any corruption that they would have hit upon, and is to make the FLA that agency that is beyond reproach.
34 live rounds of ammunition have been recovered in the Denham Town zone of special operations. Thursday's discovery came 2 days after Prime Minister Andrew Holness declared Denham Town as the second zone on Tuesday. Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay of the Zoso Communications Unit says 9,000 searches have so far been conducted.
They have searched over 2,000 motor vehicles. They have processed a number of individuals. No one has been formally charged for any major offense yet.
In an update on the Zoso Twitter feed today, it was revealed that one man has been arrested for breaching Section 21 of the Zones of Special Operations Act by providing false identification. The man reportedly tried to use his brother's ID to breach one of the 30 security checkpoints that have been established in Denham Town. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he expects that Parliament will pass the Building Act within the next 2 weeks. The bill, which is now before the House of Representatives, seeks to establish a modern legislative framework that will serve to reduce the vulnerability of Jamaica's built environment and ensure public safety. The legislation provides for the establishment of the National Building Code and empowers the Bureau of Standards to set acceptable local and international standards for construction. A building practitioners board and the appointment of the municipal corporations as the local building authorities are also set out in the law.
And I am expecting that we should be able in the next 2 weeks to pass Jamaica's new building codes, which will see a much stronger building sector and a far more resilient and sustainable spatial development of our country.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was speaking at Wednesday's opening of the inaugural Regional Housing Conference in Montego Bay. 40 members of the disabled community are now in receipt of laptops to increase their access to the digital world. Valued at $13.5 million, the equipment were donated by the Universal Service Fund to tertiary level students and some who are already employed.
We are living in an era where technology is a major driver of development. Modern technologies are making it easier for citizens across the globe, and indeed persons with disabilities, to be included in this development trajectory.
A $1 million grant fund has been launched for the establishment of youth businesses in and around the Blue and John Crow Mountains. The fund is open to young people aged 18 to 35 years who are operating businesses that use Jamaica's cultural practices and traditions in the creation of goods and services. Culture Minister Olivia Grange made the announcement Wednesday at the second in a series of Blue and John Crow Mountains World Heritage Site Economic Opportunities Workshop. And finally, Fort Rocky in Port Royal has been announced as Jamaica's first entertainment zone. Entertainment zones are areas in which any legal entertainment and sports activities can be staged any time of day or night unhindered, as long as the organizers are mindful of the historical value of such sites. In making the announcement Thursday, Portfolio Minister Olivia Grange urged the private sector to take advantage of the economic opportunities entertainment zones provide. Minister Grange said 2 other entertainment zones would be set up outside of the corporate area. And in line with Kingston being designated a creative city of music, the minister said government would be reinforcing festival tourism with the Jamaica Carnival 2018 and Reggae Month 2018. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thank you for watching.
Jamaica comes alive for Jamaica 55. The Jamaica Information Service is inviting primary, secondary, and tertiary students to catch the vibes and join in the celebration by participating in this year's staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Primary and prep school children, ages 9 to 12, enter the essay competition and tell us how you would want to see Jamaica in 55 years. High schoolers enter the poster competition. Show us your artistic interpretations of Jamaica throughout her 55 years in a poster titled Jamaica 55. Posters may be designed digitally or illustrated. Zoom, click, snap. Yes, tertiary students, the photo competition is back. Capture an image that best represents Jamaica 55. For more information on the competition rules and how to submit entries, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. You may also send an email to heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, or call us at 926-3590-4. The deadline for all entries is October 31, 2017. So ready, set, go for prizes galore. JIS Heritage Competition 2017, celebrating Jamaica 55.
Safety in air transportation is a priority of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and that was on display as he visited the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority's Traffic Control Tower recently.
It is simultaneously a great honor, privilege, and the utmost pleasure to welcome to the Norman Manley International Airport Air Traffic Control Tower the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
This honor was extended to the aviation fraternity when the Prime Minister toured the new air traffic control tower at the Norman Manley International Airport. The tower was officially opened in November 2016.
We truly appreciate the fact, Prime Minister, that your presence here today is not about having time. It is rather about making the time for an important event and activity such as this one amidst your very busy schedule. Your presence here today underscores the value you attach to the aviation industry and the invaluable contribution and service which the industry continues to provide.
The new tower, equipped with state-of-the-art technology, not only signals the modernization of Jamaica's air navigation services, but, as the Prime Minister points out, falls within the framework for the redevelopment of Kingston.
We have great plans for Kingston. We don't see this airport maintaining its current level of air passengers. We see an increase. When we do the developments as it relates to our home porting for cruise shipping in Kingston, the redevelopment of Port Royal, the development of our government campus, our new parliament, and our new museum, which will become attractions in and of itself. Several new hotels are being built in Kingston. Kingston will become a destination. We have plans for the redevelopment of our waterfront and our skyline to make Kingston into the true center city of the Caribbean.
Transport Minister Mike Henry emphasized the government's dedication to this aspect of the transport sector.
Air traffic management and development is no mean feat. It has to be underpinned by a deep sense of commitment to safety and willingness to meet the desired ever-changing standards. The government is committed, willing and serious about positioning Jamaica as a force to be reckoned with in the aviation industry.
The Prime Minister was treated to good news on his visit with the announcement that the country is already being recognized for its efforts to improve safety in air transportation.
Jamaica has been selected as a recipient of the International Civil Aviation Organization President's Certificate, recognizing our significant safety performance for 2016. Of the 192 countries who are signatories to the ICAO conventions, 12 are selected each year for this recognition. I salute our JCAA and Airtel team members who continue to make us proud.
The tour not only provided the opportunity for the Prime Minister to see the new technology in the TAR, but to also meet the people responsible for maintaining the high standards of the country's aviation system.
We could actually facilitate operations here for over a week, continued operations at this facility, without JPS power supply, without the NMIA airport power supply. Should there be any kind of threat, any kind of disruption of service at Winchester Road, we're actually able to provide the service at this location.
I want to commend the air traffic controllers for the sterling service that they have been giving to Jamaica in ensuring that our airspace is safely and securely managed, and for doing it in an efficient way. Air traffic services are critical to Jamaica. It supports all the other industries, in particular tourism, but business in general, and of course Jamaicans who want to travel to and from Jamaica. So it's a critical part of Jamaica's overall development.
Yourself, man. I'm certified, licensed, and ready for the pest control work.
Mount make me say anything, you know.
That is why I travel with my documents: PCA ID, insurance, pest control operator's license, applicator certificate, with picture and everything. Signed, stamp, seal, and up to date.
So, when them expire?
See it here on the document. All pest control personnel and companies have to be approved by the Pesticides Control Authority.
For a list of licensed companies, contact the Pesticides Control Authority at 754-9306.
The country's economy is largely driven by its agricultural exports. A threat to this sector is pesticides. To prevent and minimize the onset of an infestation on plants and crops, the Pesticides Control Authority is constantly assessing and reviewing its strategies. Take a look.
Pest control practices using hazardous substances require us to take necessary safety precautions to protect our health. Any misguided idea as to the danger that can result from toxic pesticides must be dismissed from our minds, as we can be caught off guard by the lengthy period that might elapse before any signs of illness sets in. At the level of government, the Pesticides Control Authority (PCA) is the entity enforcing the necessary safeguards by regulating importation, manufacturing, sale, and use of pesticides.
The issue of pesticides usage poses several benefits to our society, but also can pose several challenges also, because for every positive that it represents in terms of controlling adverse conditionalities, it also, if used improperly, can lead to challenges within the environment and also affect the citizens, the persons who use or persons who are exposed.
The Pesticides Control Authority partners with local and international bodies to fulfill its regulatory functions. That includes establishing the conditions under which these substances can be safely administered.
Our website www.caribpesticides.net has a list of all registered products, and each month the board of the Pesticides Control Authority considers new
products,
and when they are approved, they are added each month to that website list. And occasionally we will remove products that were previously registered, and that's a monthly process as well. In addition, the Pesticides Review Committee goes through and looks at the more toxic ones and decides whether to recommend to the board to phase them out or not.
We have 48% of products which are used in agriculture sector, which belongs to the class 4, which is least toxic products. On opposite end, the most toxic products, we have only 1.2% remaining in the system.
The most toxic pesticides are restricted and only authorized persons are allowed to use them, having been trained and certified by the authority. The PCA also certifies private applicators of pesticides, including farmers. Persons handling and applying pesticides are required to follow all the instructions on the label and must wear the designated safety gear. At hand at all times should be protective clothing, gloves, boots, and eyeglasses. Application should be done in a manner that limits human contact.
We have seen persons being poisoned, basically, because of adverse exposure. Take, for example, rodents and the substance that is used to get rid of rodents. If it's placed in the wrong place, it does affect those who are exposed to it. And in fact, the data that I've seen show that on average about 40 persons a year are affected adversely because of the inappropriate application of that particular pest control substance.
Pesticides approved by the PCA are more easily monitored to ensure health and safety, but those that are illegally concocted and made available commercially or imported pose significant risks for unsuspecting consumers.
The problem with these, as far as the persons buying it should be concerned, is they don't really know what they are getting. So for example, we have bought a rat bait that we saw being sold that is locally manufactured illegally, and when tested in the lab there was nothing in there that could kill a rat. So the persons buying that product were only feeding the rats. The other problem we have is that there are illegal pesticides coming in through the ports, or through other avenues, I suppose. Biggest problem are the black mosquito coils. The problem with them is that we have not got any application to have them registered, so we don't really know how much of a health risk they are. But we have got some reports that especially children and people with respiratory problems have been affected. In fact, they are probably just too good. So they affect not only the mosquitoes and the flies, but the humans as well. Some of them contain active ingredients that we know that are a real problem, and even if an application came in to register them, we would not want to do so. Then there's some other things, such as this chalk, which a child would think is a regular piece of chalk that they see at their school. And then there are some things that are in plastic bottles. These are very common. Again, the wristbands, that's not a registered product.
Persons are also placed at high risk when products are removed from their original manufacturer's container and repackaged inappropriately.
And again, how does a person buying something like that know that what they are getting is the real thing.
Even within the household, it's a dangerous practice to transfer pesticides to things like soda bottles or plastic bags for storage.
Unfortunately, children in the home can get a hold of it. And children end up in hospital all the time because of that problem, particularly eating rat bait.
It has to be locked away and properly labeled. We also recommend to the farmers use very simple, inexpensive methods of storage. You don't need to be very, elaborate or fancy. You can use just maybe old shelf of refrigerator or old filing cabinet or just simply wooden box.
For its part, the Pesticides Control Authority regularly collects samples of local and imported agricultural foods to test for residual pesticide levels. Farmers are encouraged to do their own due diligence by first determining the percentage of pesticide to use and following the label instruction for things such as dilution rates and the correct time to spray. The PCA provides simplified information to help in this process.
We have done a mini survey to determine what possible practices the farmers are doing that could be causing the problem, and then we are going to be training them specifically in those.
Farmers can also minimize the use of pesticides by practicing biological and cultural control methods, such as barrier crops, sticky traps, and crop rotation. Whether for commercial use, on the farm, or in the home, make pesticide use a last resort. Or, failing that, make it a priority to handle pesticides safely, because the life saved could just be your own. For more information, you can visit the Pesticides Control Authority website at caribpesticides.net. You can also email pca@cwjamaica.com.
An important element of a successful statistical project is math. Aware of this, the government is pushing numerical mastery at all levels of the education system. Here are a few tips to appreciate, and hopefully you'll love the subject.
2, 2 is 4, 2, 3,
Many can recall reciting those lines in their first mathematics class, beaming with confidence as the timetable reels off the lips. But as the days multiply and square off into years, math is evolving into a feared subject, with many succumbing to that fear and failing exams. But fear not, help is on the way. Unfortunately for some people, just the thought of numbers freaks them out. Addition, multiplication and division are frustrating computations. But the reality is, the ability to apply mathematical concepts to real-life circumstances is necessary for one's development. Math is about problem-solving and analytical thinking, skills required to be a productive member of society. A significant number of students at both the primary and secondary levels is not performing up to standard, a reality that's been captured in benchmark national exams.
Generally speaking, across the system, from the very earliest stages, we're beginning to see students struggling with the subject.
The students themselves do know the importance of math and want to excel in the subject. So when a group of them were offered an opportunity to change the statistics, they accepted. These students packed an auditorium at the University of the West Indies, Mona, during summer 2012 for a 3-2-1 math camp.
X union Y union Z equals, and then you write down all of those.
I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do a car business, like sell cars and rent cars. Math is important because with selling and renting cars, you'd have to need calculation.
People keep on telling me, but then I'm saying I really don't like math, so and then because I really want to do it, I'm after getting involved in math.
The Ministry of Education is adamant students must do well at math. The development of the country rests on it.
But realizing this goal means eliminating the fear harbored by some students.
Once they're not getting things right, they start getting things wrong. The fear comes in and that just perpetuates the problem.
The culture of fear for math can also be perpetuated by parents.
The cultural acceptance that if you're not good at maths, that's all right. You know, I'm not good at it, so it's okay. We've had parents communicate that to teachers. Now, you know, miss, I wasn't good at the subject, so if he or she isn't so good at it, it's all right, don't be so rough on him or her.
That's exactly what educators want to change, because they know that if students don't grasp certain math concepts at an early stage, it can be difficult for their brains to appreciate the subject later.
One of the things I used to do is drills, timetable drills, because what will happen sometimes, they get used to the calculator, they don't understand the patterns and get the logic, so that later on they get something, put the information in the calculator, it gives them a wrong answer because they're putting something wrong and they don't realize it.
This brings into the equation the competence of teachers. Teachers must be qualified to identify the challenges faced by students and groom their minds to understand the concepts. And the educators need to enter the classroom freed of their own fears.
There was a survey done in 2009, I believe, by the ministry, and I think 20% of the primary teachers at the time spoke to being afraid of the subject and spoke to wanting not to have to teach the subject. We have teachers who come into the classroom, they pass on their gaps and fears to our children who become our future teachers.
Government is putting in the work to drive up the math numbers. Through the National Mathematics Scheme, 2 significant activities are taking place: an update of the numeracy policy drafted in 2003 and the development of a National Mathematics Strategic Plan.
The document is speaking to issues such as qualifications to teach the subject at various levels of the education system, and it also gives very clear guidelines and standards for what teacher education programs should look like.
It's going to take time, but with a clearer plan and everyone on board, the government is determined to solve the problem of mathematical failings, and we are all a part of the equation. So if you excelled in the subject, help someone who is struggling, whether it's a relative, a neighbor, or a friend. 1 + 1, helping each other, we can achieve 100.
As the world underscores the importance of statistics, former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, is urging all partners and stakeholders to work together to ensure that the necessary investments are made. He adds that adequate technical capacity must be built, new data sources explored, and innovative processes applied in order to give all countries the comprehensive information systems they need to achieve sustainable development. The simple truth is that without proper data, the government cannot properly plan. For instance, the Education Ministry needs to know how many students are enrolled at a school to determine if provisions must be made for additional teachers. So don't shun the census takers or refuse to fill out a form if asked to upon a visit of a public entity. This is data which will help to better serve you and your loved ones. On this Second World Statistics Day, remember that in order to become the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business, we all have to be counted. This is where the magazine closes for today. If you need more information on features aired in today's show, click on our website, jis.gov.jm. There you may also find more info on government programs and policies. For more television features, visit our YouTube channel. We're also on various social media sites. You may also download our app from the Google Play Store to stay informed while you're on the go. I'm Audrey Williams. Do have a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.